Here's another poem by Marriott Edgar. It's called The Channel Swimmer. Would you hear a wild tale of adventure, of a hero who tackled the sea, a Superman swimming the ocean, then hark to tale of Joe Lee? Our channel, our own straits at over, had been swum by an alien lot. Our British-born swimmers had tried it, but that was as far as they'd got. So great was the outcry in England, dart players neglected their beer, and the Chancellor proclaimed from the woolsack as Joe Lee were the chap for this year. For in swimming baths all round country, Joe were noted for daring and strength. Quite often he dived in deep end and thought nothing of swimming a length. So they wrote him care of workhouse master. Joe was spending the summer with him, and promised him 2 Christmas puddings if of a channel he'd swim. Joe jumped into the bridge like a hero. He said all their fears I'll relieve, and it isn't their puddings as after, as I told them last Christmas Eve. Though many had tackled channel, from Christmas to Dover that is, for the honour and glory of England, I'll swim from Dover to Christmas. As soon as his words were made public, newspapers gathered around, and offered to gie him a pension if he lost both his legs and got drowned. He borrowed a tug for the navy to swim in shelter alay. The wireless folk lent him a wavelength, and the waterboard lent him the sea. His wife strapped a mascot around him. Tears to his eyes gently stole. 'Twere some Guinness corks she'd collected and stitched to an old camisole. He entered water at daybreak. A man with a camera stood near. He said, "Hurry up and get in, lad. You're spoiling view of the pier." At last he were in. He was swimming with a beautiful overarm stroke. When men on the tug saw with horror that rope he were tied to had broke. Then down came a fog, thick as treacle. The tug looked so distant and dim. A voice shouted, "Help! I am drowning!" Joe listened and found it were him. The tug circled round till they found him, and they hauled him aboard like a sack, tied a new tow rope around him, smacked him, and then threw him back. 'Twere at sunset, or just a bit later, that he realised all wasn't right. But tow rope were trailing behind him, and the noose round his waist getting tight. One hasty glance over his shoulder, he saw in a flash what were wrong. The captain had shut off his engine. Joe were towing the tugboat along. On and on through the darkness he paddled, till he knew he were very near in. By the way, he kept bumping the bottom and hitting the stones with his chin. Was it Christmas he'd reached? No, it wasn't. The treacherous tide in its track had carried him halfway to Blackpool, and he had to walk all the way back. Oh, I love that poem.